Hello children, welcome to the social science lessons for class 7. History chapter 1, Tracing Changes Through a Thousand Years, part 5. In the previous class, we have seen the emergence of some groups of people as important and powerful, such as Rajaputs, Marathas, Sikhs, Jats, and Kayasthas. Kayasthas, like who are Kayasthas? They were a caste of scribes and secretaries. And who are the scribes? Scribes are professional copyists, right? So they were the people who copied the manuscripts and all, right? So there we have stopped, and today we will be dealing with some more socio-political changes which happened in the medieval period. Let's read this part. Throughout this period, there was a gradual clearing of forest and the extension of agriculture, a change faster and more complete in some areas than in others. Changes in their habitat forced many forest dwellers to migrate. Now I'll explain it. At the medieval period, here we say a period between 700 and 1750 CE. And this medieval period experienced gradual clearing of forest and the expansion of agricultural land. And this affected the forest dwellers very badly. And they lost their dependence on the forest. Now they cannot hunt and they cannot gather fruits, roots, or leaves. And they cannot collect materials to build their houses. So they lost their livelihood totally with this, right? And some of them had to face forced displacement from the forest during this period. So, this led to the changes in their habitat. Now, we will see what is this habitat is. Habitat means the environment of a region and the social and economic lifestyle of its residents. Okay, and here we have seen, so these changes it led to the changes in the habitat of these people. Which people? This forest dwellers. Okay, and here in this case the forest dwellers had to migrate from the forest area, so their place of living and the lifestyle changed, right? Others started tilling the land and became peasants. These new peasant groups gradually began to be influenced by the regional markets, chieftains, priests, monasteries, and temples. They became part of large complex societies and were required to pay taxes and offer goods and services to local lords. So let's see what it is. Once these forest dwellers lost their traditional occupation, some migrated from their place, and others started tilling the land and started doing cultivation, and they became peasants. So, a new peasant community emerged there, and this newly emerged peasant groups started mingling with the local markets around them, then other chieftains, other temple priests, monasteries, or the ashrams, and the temples over there. Okay, and gradually these newly emerged peasant communities they also became a part of the large complex society. Okay, they also became a part of the large complex normal society. Okay, and now they had to pay the taxes like others, and sometimes these people had to offer goods and services to the local lords. As a result, significant economic and social differences emerged amongst peasants. Some possessed more productive land, others also kept cattle, and some combined artisanal work with agricultural activity during the lean season. Okay, so here we have seen already some socioeconomic changes are happening in the society. Now, when we consider the peasants, there were differences among them. Some were so rich and some were not. Okay, some were not rich. Some peasants had more productive land and they could get an income which was sufficient for their survival. But the others who had less productive land, they had to depend on the other activities like artisanal work or cattle rearing and all to do in the lean season of the agriculture. So the people will engage in this artisanal work and other works for their survival during the non-agricultural seasons. And some here, so they kept this artisanal work and cattle rearing with agricultural activities too. So the agriculture, but agriculture itself, they were unable to live. They had to depend on some other sources of income too for their survival. So that's why they kept cattle rearing and other artisanal work too along with this agriculture. As society became more differentiated, people were grouped into jatis or subcastes and ranked on the basis of their backgrounds and their occupations. Ranks were not fixed permanently and varied according to the power, influence, and resources controlled by members of the jati. The status of the same jati could vary from area to area. Here we are talking about the social differentiation or how the society was divided. People were grouped into different jatis or subcaste, and there were basically some ranks in the society. And the ranks were given on the basis of people's background and also on the basis of their occupation or job. The ranks were not fixed permanently. Those ranks were not permanent at all. Okay, like time to time, this rank kept on changing. Okay, and it changed. This rank changed according to the power, influence, and the wealth a subcaste had. Okay, and if a jadi or a subcaste is having more of power, influence, or wealth, they were given with better rank. And the other thing is the status of same jadi could not be the same from area to area. If suppose a particular jadi, say for example, the people doing artisanal work is rich in one area, it is not necessary to have the same jadi as rich and powerful in some other area. Okay. Jatis framed their own rules and regulations to manage the conduct of their members. These regulations were enforced by an assembly of elders, described in some areas as the Jadi Panchayat. But Jadis were also required to follow the rules of their villages. Several villages were governed by a chieftain. Together, they were only one small unit of a state. And now, this part we are learning how the affairs of the Jadi regulated. And each Jadi or subcaste framed its own rules and regulation to manage its members or to manage the conduct of its members. And there were Jadi Panchayat to enforce these rules and regulations. Now, what is this Jadi Panchayat? Jadi Panchayat was an assembly of elders, and they made all those rules and regulations, and they took the major decisions and all. Okay, and but you have to remember like this particular name, Jadi Panchayat, for the assembly of elders was used in some of the villages only. Okay, but so there was an assembly of elders who enforced other rules and regulation for a Jadi. Okay, and apart from this rules and regulations kept by the Jadi Panchayat or the assembly of elders, so the people had to follow other village rules too, as villagers, right? Then, and many of these villages were not, sorry, many of these villages were headed or governed by a chieftain, and a chieftain had the control over a very small unit of the state. So you have to understand the villages were only a micro unit or a very small unit of a bigger state. So I'll stop for today here. Hope you understood this part well. Thank you, children.